Hi all, my name is Xpload Gaming and... okay, no it's not. My name's Skate and welcome to Xpload Gaming's channel. Today we're going to talk about the Chieftain Mk6. It's a British icon. And Xpload Gaming has today for you some visual aids and some gameplay to show you exactly how to play this tank and where the weaknesses and the strengths of said tank are. And has invited myself along the way for some commentary. So let's make a start in the garage, and first we're going to look at consumables. Xpload likes to set his up with a repair kit, an adrenaline and a multi-restoration kit. And then onto provisions, we're looking tea and pudding because you can't have anything else in a British tank. We're having improved fuel and a spot more tea. On an ammunition front you are looking 45 APCR, 25 premium APCR and 20 of that beautiful HESH. Working our way through to the equipment, which you no longer have to wait timers for, we're going to be looking at putting a rammer on this thing. We are then going to be looking at putting improved modules on it. You're then looking at improved optics. Going from there, you're looking straight at a gun lane drive. And then what you're actually looking at is not the enhanced armor, but you're looking at improved assembly. And then we're looking at engine accelerator, and then a vertical stabilizer. And if you're going to go any further, you're going to want to be looking at a toolbox. And then if you're going all the way, we're looking at a consumable delivery system. Now let's have a look at the tank in a bit more depth with this amazing visual display. Lower plate, 85mm. A lot of things can pen this, some things even with HE. Upper plate, you're looking at 120mm of armor at 70 degrees. So when using the gun depression, the upper plate can be quite effective. The turret armor is where the magic happens. Lower areas have 250mm, in the middle you're looking around 140, and on the roof only 70. So it's all about that gun depression. On the sides, just above the spaced armor, is a 50mm armor area, which means everything pretty much can penetrate that with HE. The side of the turret you're looking 200 towards the front, slowly working our way to 100mm at the back. And then if we look around the rear of the tank, you're looking 25mm of armor on the back, which everything at tier 10 and 9 can penetrate that, and 30mm on the back of the turret, which again, everything can penetrate. And then a quick look at some gun specs: 1.5 second aim time and a 0.308 gun dispersion. Combine that with 3,167 DPM, or 7.92 rounds a minute, and you are laughing. Reasonable APCR pen, 260, and a below average premium APCR pen at 310. 110mm of pen on the HESH though, that's very tasty, and where the magic happens on this tank is that 10 degrees of gun depression. So, everything about the armor on this tank has so far told us it's all about being hull down using that 10 degrees of gun depression. But it's also a very mobile heavy tank. And the hull traverse speed is very quick. Especially for a heavy tank. You're looking 30 or just shy of 39 degrees of hull traverse. Turret traverse is just a bit shorter, 36.45. In other words, you'll be able to get this tank turned and snapped onto a target very, very quickly. It's a heavium, it's not a heavy tank. And that's something important you need to consider with this tank. And it has the mobility to go with that. I mean, a 42km/h top speed, but as you can see, it gets up to speed very, very quickly. It's very respectable for a heavy tank, but it's just on the slow side for a medium tank. Hence the heavium title, combined with its armor. Reverse speed, though. You're looking at a reverse speed of 15km/h. And it's a bit slow in reverse, so don't be expecting to be backing out of scenarios too quickly, which again points us to the hull down tank. But you can't always get a tank in a hull down position, so if you can't, well, there are some other alternatives, for example using that amazing DPM. And we have two games to show you, the first one being from Zerd and the second one being from Xpload Gaming. Both members of the R2K clan. these replays are going to highlight perfectly the pros and the cons of this tank, and they're both interesting games to watch. So, first things first, he's taking the medium route along with, well, a T-57 and a Leopard PTA. And he's looking to spot, and he's looking to spot early. So he's coming up to the ridge, and he's going to see what is available. And, well, nothing. So he's just going to go in for it. Because if he's got an open route from the direction he is now, if he gets in early, hopefully his team will come and back him up. But he might be able to surprise any tanks which are lurking in the bush by arriving there within the first minute. Which is something you don't always see on this map. People quickly and surprisingly just arriving there. But it has worked to his advantage, and he's using a little ridge in front of him just to poke his turret. And that FE215B is not in a healthy situation. And neither is this one, which is going to come up and take his very strong position and basically push him out of it. Which is a bit annoying, but he's about to go sideways straight out in front of everything anyway. Don't understand the reasoning for that, however, it's given Xpload a little bit of an opportunity to push in, get one shot onto the AMX-50B and get back into a position where he's fairly strong again. Now the 215B did push him out of a strong position. And it looks like he was going to do the same thing again, but by that 215B going out sideways, he used that to his advantage as his distraction. And now he gets to use the gun depression again to get targets down straight through the top of the turret. And then the T-54E1 is looking at him, which is why he's reversing to hide his lower plate and just poke his turret. Gets one shot in, and then he does notice an E4 popping up behind him, which is why he's, well, basically trying to hide himself, deal with this one tank who can shoot at the side of him, and, well, sadly takes a shot from both. But thankfully, E4 was firing HE, which means he did very minimal damage. Now, he was either aiming for the side of the tank or just couldn't pen the turret, so just decided, I'm just going to fire HE. Now, Xpload's going in for a face hug, and the reason he's going in for a face hug is A, he can go through the cheek again, and B, well, going uphill like this, the E4 doesn't have the greatest gun depression, so the only thing he's got to point at is the turret, which is why he bounced another shot from the E4. And he's looking for those cheek shots. Another alternative to this is to go side hugging this tank, because by side hugging the E4, you can put a HESH round straight into the area he is looking for now, and do much more damage. But he's used the bad traverse on that tank and the great traverse on the Chieftain to basically get around him and deal with him. In doing so, he's also put himself in a strong position to quickly pop up and put one more into the E4. And again, he's in a strong position using the hull down to basically come around the side and finish off the 215B. Now if the 215B turned to address him, well, he was hull down, so although the 215B wasn't looking at him at that point in time, it's always worth trying to get into those sorts of positions and consider those positions, because if they do turn, you're more likely to bounce a shot. And this is the perfect scenario for the Chieftain. You can see he's just poking, the only thing they have to shoot at is his turret. So this is the perfect example of a Chieftain hull down. And that was the last tank. And thankfully it was the last tank because he stuck. But that was 6,641 damage. He did fire several premium to deal with the E75 and to deal with the T110E4. However, still made 45,000 credits. I can't say this enough. If you've got one of these, it's like a tier 10 premium. It's meant to be enriched, but it does make credits, so you can make credits while playing tier 10 in your Chieftain, as long as you can do the damage. So, same map, opposite side, this time we're looking at Xpload playing, and he's going to take a different approach to Xpload. Xpload went up around the high ground, and Xpload is going to be taking the low ground, and the reason he's going for the low ground is gun depression. Also note that move. Now if someone was in the bush over the other side, they would be able to spot, for example, that Leo going past, no problem at all. However, because he took the longest route possible away from the bush, much less likelihood of him being spotted there. And he's just bounced a heat round from the grill. Hell of a shot from the grill over that little ridge. But it bounced on the turret of the Chieftain, which kind of proves just how strong the turret is on this thing. Now, in the circumstances in at the moment, there is nothing spotted. coming this way anyway. And sometimes there is an overwhelming urge to just go and see what you can spot. However, scenarios like this and positions like this are very, very strong. Now, he put an APCR round into the grill there, the standard ammo. However, you could have used the HESH on the grill, and that would have worked to the advantage of just maximising damage. And of course, things like HESH will maximise module damage as well, and by maximising module damage, you're increasing the chance of somebody using their consumables, which means they can't use them when they absolutely desperately need them in a close range circumstance. Things like that can give you an advantage a little bit later on into the gameplay. Now, he's turned around because he's noticed that the flank is basically collapsing, so he needs to go and address these guys and help his team as quick as he can. Also, the other direction, he was getting shot by something which was entirely unspotted. So if he stuck in that position, high likelihood a couple more shots would have come into him before he spotted anything. However, there's a lot of tanks around this side, so he really does need to lay out his damage and work at trying to get these tanks down. Now, it looks like the enemy's making a push on him. The Conker's come up by there, and the FV4202 has poked around the corner and done no damage, just done his track. And it looks like the Conk is coming to join the party as well. So you need to be careful of this, because multiple tanks rushing you... Here we go. Multiple tanks rushing you at once in a Chieftain is not good. Only your frontal armor is good. The rest of the armor is pathetic. So with that in mind, multiple targets, you can get wiped out very quickly if they start shooting at the sides and rear on you. In a one-on-one, however, Chieftain is not a tank you want to go rushing in on unless you have support, because you can out-DPM a lot of heavy tanks, and you have armor to bounce several of their shots in response, and if you're in a medium, yeah, you might have better DPM. However, this thing has HESH, so when you're trying to circle around it, you're exposing your sides. So it's not a tank you really, really want to be pushing alone. And on the screen right now is displayed one of the rather large weaknesses to the Chieftain Mk6, and that would be the driver is slightly suicidal. He likes to take one for the team and take the shell on the head. Basically anything going through the front upper plate on this thing, well, say bye-bye driver. So if you've used your consumables, as you can see Xpload has in this one, there's not really a lot you can do in terms of mobility, and then the mobility is really bad. Getting into a close range scenario with a dead driver, you're in a lot of trouble because you can't turn your tank quick enough to deal with mediums then. And if you've already used your consumable, well, you have to wait, and then you're in a lot of trouble. Thankfully, consumable back up, although I don't let... There we go. And now it's a 2-on-2, except they're winning on cap points. So, you'll notice he's coming straight around the back, and he's looking at putting a HESH shell into the side of that Chieftain just above the spaced armor, which really maximised his damage, which means the second one he could put in and pretty much guarantee. Now he's done that, it's just one tank left, which is the Death Star. Now in a Chieftain, you can HESH a lot of a Death Star in terms of turret cheeks and things like that. But he doesn't have time to be trying to concentrate on trying to get HESH shells in because look at the cap counter. At this point, it's easier just to whip around the corner as quick as you can and get the large shell in because they are on 955, which means if he died, they would have won. So there's no messing around there, but that meant 5,110 damage. He fired very little premium APCR, which means he made 73,000 credits in a tier 10 tank. But that is it for this video. My name is Sk8, this is Xpload Gaming video and channel, and we hope you have enjoyed.